I'm gonna speak the truth. Hello, everybody. Speaking the truth.
Welcome to the Rated M Show.
Welcome to the Rated M Show. So excited to be doing this. I don't know who's actually here because this is kind of I announced it Friday, but I know this is a little off schedule, kind of going out the fly. So um, yeah, but I think it's a good topic to talk about. Um, so what we would like to discuss today, first of all, I'm Dre. For those who don't know,
And
this is
I'm Siobhan.
my lovely wife Siobhan. So one of the things, well, what I want, not one of the things, but what I want to talk about today um, is love leftovers or leftover love. Shani, what's up? How are you, ma'am?
Hi.
How are you, ma'am? Is love leftovers, and so what I mean by that is like a lot of times by the time we get married, we've already spent our primes with multiple people or by ourselves. And then, like, when we're on the decline, it's like, well, might as well go and get married, get this out the way, and do my best.
Right.
Um, and so I think, that causes obviously a lot of problems in marriage and relationships and different things like that. And so I just kind of wanted to get, I don't know, women's perspective. I know from a guy's perspective, a lot of times it's my wife dresses up and puts on makeup to go to work. She puts on makeup and smells good and all this stuff to go to church. But then when it's like our time, break it out. Go on, bust it out. No, you got it there. There you go.
The bonnet. And
Yeah,
it's gold
right.
for y'all. It's
And
fancy.
so then when it's our time, this is what we get. No makeup, a gold bonnet. We don't even get the gold bonnet. It's usually the black one. Rusty
That's
black.
because I spiced it up for you.
Thank you. They're a rusty black bonnet, and so I guess so from a lady's perspective, I'm assuming guys do that too. What does that look like for you? Or yeah, from
I think it can be very similar to what you said. Like if you go into work, like sometimes, you put your best effort in making sure the work projects are done or, maybe home projects or whatever. But then it's like when I need you, to spend some time, you're a little checked out, like um like you said, you've done whatever before we were married, and now it's like, oh, I guess there's nothing left for me to do, so I might as well go ahead and get married. I'm gonna take this off because it's hot. um, it's warm in here, but like that's not really like, I don't think that's something that women want, and I don't even know if that's something that we really consciously think about, because growing up, women are told, um, I think most women are told to, have fun, enjoy your youth, get your education, XYZ, and then somewhere in your around late 20s, early 30s, start thinking about marriage. Um, but then it's like that's, kind of the prime of that's kind of the prime of like, you know, who you are. And not saying that when you're in your 30s you're not good. That's not what I'm saying. But in learning yourself and that prime time to learn to be with a partner, you're kind of like maybe wilding out or focusing on other things. Not everybody's wilding out, but yeah, I think a lot of those things are the same for women as they are men.
okay. Um, I won't get into why that's not true, but I understand. Okay,
Why is it not true?
statistically, it's not true. Men reach their peak a lot later than women do.
I didn't say reaching their peak. I said like you go to work and you
But
make
no, I know what
work
you mean.
stuff.
No, I'm saying our prime is usually later. So Well, no, you're right. I'm not gonna go there. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like, the man's quote unquote prime. I'm saying like, the time post college, that time is spent, yeah, building a career, but possibly dating whoever, whatever, whenever, and not necessarily intentionally saving ourselves for our spouse.
No, I definitely agree. So all knowing bonnet guru.
Are you talking to me?
Yes. Well, you have the gold bonnet, so
It is the gold bonnet.
so
Going.
do you feel like so what do you do if you're in a marriage and then you realize like, oh, I haven't kind of been like is that a thing that people can be honest about and say?
What? Complete that thought.
Like, man, I haven't been giving my all. I have been kind of giving my whoever's significant other like my leftovers. Is that a like
um I don't know if that's something like a conclusion you come to, because you may not see it that way. You know what I mean? Like you think that, you're doing what you're supposed to do, between working and then maybe you're a parent and trying to take care of XYZ. You're doing what you're supposed to do. And it's easy to like not to kind of forget about intentionally putting time in with your partner, or
right.
not even putting time in, but just prioritizing and letting other things be less of a priority. I was going to say fall by the wayside, but that's not really true. But just letting, like, intentionally setting your spouse as a priority. I think we kind of think like, oh, he'll be there. Oh, she'll be there. He understands. She understands because we're in this situation together.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know if it's something that people intentionally think about. I think for me, I mean, we got married when I was really young, and I mean, we're 4 years apart, so you were young as well, but like it wasn't like, oh, let me try to do whatever and then get married. That
No,
was my
yeah,
focus.
yeah. I guess all right, that's for like before marriage. I think what I mean in marriage is like so one thing I've learned on this show
What have you learned?
is that there's a sense of comfortability, I guess, when you get married.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I mean from that aspect is like, I mean, really from a man's perspective, the only thing I can think of is that it's like, work, church gets like the best version of you. And then when you come home, it's like, well, I'm home, I'm comfortable, so I'm just gonna throw on this robe, this bonnet, this whatever, and it just is what it is, and you just gotta take that. And so I guess more so of that, or maybe for women, it's time like, oh, you got time for your boys, you do this, you do that, but then when I want to talk or do this long list of things that women have, like you don't have time or you too busy or whatever. And so what I think is happens is we do that, and a lot of us don't even notice that we're doing it. That we kind of just give people like, it's like, well, why she always tripping, or why he never has time to talk, or our sex life is trash, or financially, or whatever the situation may be. I think a lot of times, either I think it's what's the word I want to say? It's two-sided or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us come into marriage like all exhausted out or all used up or whatever. And so like nothing that this person does for you is new because and not even just sexually, I just mean like, getting flowers may not be special anymore because you've been in 100 relationships and everybody bought you flowers, or Valentine's Day or different things like that. And so for me, I think like learning your mate, I guess, is a good place to start. and kind of figuring out. So, question. So for women, because we've had this conversation, how do you say that to a woman? What's a way you can say that to your spouse? To be like, I feel like I'm getting your leftovers without it being offensive.
I think, honestly, I think just that. Um, and I guess like maybe if your spouse is more sensitive, um, never come at I would say never come at it from an angle that makes it seem like you're blaming them, or like, like you do this and this and that, and you do this for this person and this for that person, but I don't get nothing, like not really framing it like that, because it's going to put them on the defense automatically.
Mm-hmm.
But even just saying things like, babe, I think I love it when you go to church with your heels on and you go to work, and that perfume you wear, like, I love it. Like, I would actually really love it if, on Saturday and Sunday, if we're kind of bumming around the house, if you sprayed your perfume or something like that. Like maybe something along those lines, like, I want to see you. I would like to see you, just dress up a little bit, or even put in some effort.
Oh, wait. What is the ghost from Facebook past doing?
Whoa.
You can say that I feel our path gives us a certain way.
But like, just, maybe hinting along the lines of, like, if, I'd like to see you put effort in, for me, because I love to look at you. At the same time, you have to be careful, because a woman might take that, oh, like the way that I am naturally, you don't like. Like, so I think it has to be a balance, or even just maybe overly complimenting, when she does go to work, like, hey babe, that looks really, really good on you, why don't you wear that Saturday, or let's go out or something, you know what I mean? Like, just come from it, I think, with a place of like love, to where she wouldn't be on defense, like, what you mean? Is that helpful? Does that answer your question?
It's not helpful, but it does answer my question.
Okay, why?
Because it's that soft man stuff again.
Well, you asked me.
I know, I did.
Okay, so you tell me, how would you ask?
No.
You tell me, sir, because you said
because the way that somebody got to explain it is very
Okay, so if you weren't a more passive person,
thank you.
how would you say it?
Why do I get the bonnet and your pastor get the heels?
Okay, and she might say, what do you mean?
I agree with Zena. Of course you agree with Zena. No, I'm joking. You said what she said. What do I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get the leftovers. Like, why? Like, when I met you, it was one thing, and now that I'm here, it's something else. And I know there's a lot of dudes out there that's like, I don't care how she looks, as long as we get to whatever. Which I'm not saying. Wait. Let's go, Shar. Yeah, there you go.
Why are you wearing Grady panties and no lingerie? Be direct.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Guys do the same thing. So, Zena, can you give me an example? I'm looking for it. I want to hear from women. Like, what do you feel like guys either get lazy in or give you like leftovers with, or anything like that? I need some examples.
So I'll start us off. So like,
She been waiting for this, y'all. She's gonna tell all my business.
Yes, all of it. No. So I mean, just been thinking about this, like, where, if you're dating someone, or even at the beginning of a marriage, you dress up to go out, you dress up even when you just maybe hanging around and seeing that person. As you go on and you get more comfortable, you start putting less effort into yourself. So instead of maybe a guy putting on, a nice shirt and nice jeans or shorts or whatever, he's got on like the nasty wife beater, those old basketball shorts, like
Tank tops.
Rib tank top. Okay, my bad.
Guys' appearance begins not to be as much of a priority because our spirit is broken because it leads to nowhere.
Oh my gosh. How is your spirit broken? Like what?
You know why we talked about this. That applies.
But then that makes it seem
That applies to this answer. That applies to this answer. I'm just saying.
okay, but that makes it seem very, very one-sided. That guys' spirits are broken because they don't get enough sex. So look, can we take that off the table? Like, okay, so what else? Why else would a guy get comfortable and put less effort into himself? It's probably the same as women.
Some men feel like they no longer have to take their mates on a date once they have it. What'd you say, babe? I'm sorry. Say it.
No, I said like why what tell me like aside from not getting enough sex, like okay, what is the reason? Don't shake your head, like I understand, but that the only reason why
That's
men
not even. That's not
themselves?
even. I didn't even say that though. Y'all just
No,
jumped.
but that's what you're alluding to.
I'm not alluding to that. Just that.
Then tell me what else, because that's the main thing that you come back to all the time. So tell me what else.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You got me.
Exactly. You troll.
I'm not being a troll. I'm just.
Yes,
I'm
you
saying,
are.
all the examples that I've heard have been like, you know, I mean, what I said, like she goes to church and she go to work and she got to smell good and she got this and this and that, and then like when she come home, like I get that you want to be comfortable, and I get that, and I get that like you know, you don't have to dress up. I don't think people want you walking around in heels all the time, but it's like when it's that time, that would be nice.
Okay, so are you saying that like that it's mainly focused on like intimacy time? Like
Okay, I got another
like
example.
be more clear.
Let me give another example.
Thank you.
So, like, I've been hurt by this dude. So the first time another dude say this and this and this, I'm out. Like, what do you mean? Like, I can't make a mistake because you gave all your good hope and virtues to all these other dudes, and you gave all your trust to all these dudes that you chose,
Okay.
and now I'm your husband, and I can't like be on social media too long because your last boyfriend that was on social media was cheating,
Yeah.
and that men don't run to the bathroom and freshen up to do all this extra stuff for us.
So I mean, I think that's a good point, especially if the topic is leftover love, like um, not necessarily being, um, not necessarily letting go of the hurts that you had in the past, and so now bringing that into your new relationship,
Yeah, it just
kind
kind of
of
be like,
baggage love.
yeah, and it's like, well, if you like me, this is what it is, and that's just how it's gonna be. And if you don't,
Yeah, I understand that person need not be in a relationship. That's what I think. I think that person, if you have that many trust issues over doing something that most people do, like checking social media or whatever, like
no,
you need to be in a relationship.
I get what y'all saying. I get what you were saying. That's saying how it should be, but that's not like people jump into relationship. Because my thing is, everybody has issues. Women have trauma. That don't count for that. That's another episode. But the trauma or whatever the issue, like, but I feel like it gets hidden a lot. Like I don't feel like dudes be like, well, my last girl did this, so from now on, all y'all girls gotta do blah 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 blah. Like I feel like that's mostly, in my experience, a female thing. Like I was broken and this guy did something to me, so I don't tolerate no nothing. The first sign that um, I see of XYZ, I'm out. or my dad did this to my mom and he was doing blah blah blah. So if a dude ever do that to me, fill in the blank. I'm talking. Well, I'm talking about marriage, and I'm talking about like right before you get married, like decisions you make before you get married that kind of affect your marriage now.
So connect for me how the example you just gave of somebody basically not being able to let go of the hurt that somebody else said, like making your husband pay for, from a female's perspective, making your husband pay for stuff that ex-boyfriends did that hurt you, right?
Right.
Where does that tie into leftover love? Is it just on the premise of just getting pieces of somebody?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I always look at it like percentages. So most people when they first start in a relationship are given 100% of love, trust, blah 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 blah. Some dudes or some person hurt you, so now you go into the next one like I'm only giving 90%. And then that goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And then by the time you get married, it may be down to like 30% of how you used to be. And I'm saying maybe your spouse doesn't even know that. But you know it because it's not, I don't do these certain things and I'm not fixing no play for no dude. You know what I'm saying? My husband got to do this and this and this. And he got to check in with me and he got to do this and he got to do that. Some believe that past relationships shouldn't be discussed. I think they should because it can tell you a lot and open the conversation for expectations. I agree. I need to know everybody that you don't been messing with. But no, I think that's true. And so I guess that's what I mean in the marriage is like, are you, I guess, loving like the best way you can? Are you putting everything into a relationship that you can, or are you not? Because every time you've done X, Y, Z, and I can't really think of a specific example because it varies for a lot of people. But because when I did this, even though I'm married, it's still a relationship. And the last time, like I opened up, but the last time, I guess if I was in a pool, like I'll go so far with my husband, but the last time I went in the deep end, I drowned. And even though we married for however long, like I'm still not, because I might drown and I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
It's kind of how I feel. And so like when I'm looking at all these statistics about divorce and marriage problems and relationship problems, I'm just like, being in a relationship, a lot of people don't want to be vulnerable because they get hurt every time they open themselves up. And it might not even be, necessarily in like a romantic sense, but anytime they're vulnerable around their friends or they were vulnerable at school around a teacher or it just never works out. And so you're in a marriage and you can't be all the way vulnerable with your spouse, because of whatever reason.
Right. And I think I can understand that personally because, like for me, and this could be relatable to other people, but for me, it's about being let down. It's not necessarily that, I have, so much hurt from the past and now I don't trust any man. It's not necessarily that. It's, I could be really, really independent because I just don't want to be let down. So I just do it myself. Does that make sense? Which in turn, can affect being in a partnership.
Yeah.
So I feel like that could be one of the things, especially because, as we said before, most Black women are taught to be very independent. We're not taught to work in a partnership with someone.
No, I agree with that. Segue, because this is part of what I'm talking about. This Friday, we're going to talk about.
Oh no.
No, I'm gonna say it.
What?
How this whole self-love movement, trauma, let's normalize this, let's normalize that. Counseling, all this stuff is trash.
Okay, that's
They're
your.
ruining marriages everywhere.
Okay, so I need you to come with receipts and facts for that, because that's a
Oh,
pretty.
I got plenty. You know
Okay.
your boy keep the receipts. My lights don't stay on, but I'm gonna keep the my boy Greg, what up?
He
Lights
said,
lights go running out, but I'm coming with receipts this Friday.
okay,
This self-love movement, trash. Trash. Helps nobody.
okay. We're not going to talk about this for too long, but why is it trash?
Oh, y'all talking about the fad, you funny. Because it defeats the point of marriage. It's self-love. If you want to love yourself, be by yourself. We remix marriage to make it what we want to make it, as opposed to looking at the original intent, which is why it's so messed up everywhere. That's the real reason don't nobody want to talk about. I'm gonna say it. I don't care who get mad. It's the truth.
Be really interested in hearing your reasonings.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm really interested.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get one of them therapist people on here too, so I can tell them to their face why it's trash. I ain't gonna hate on you getting your money. If people want to pay you to express their feelings that they don't want to talk to their spouse about, no problem. Trash. But anyway, back to what we're talking about today.
Uh-huh. It's a pretty bold statement.
But if I can't love myself, how can I love somebody else? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. But anyway, back to this leftover stuff, which I'm sure y'all gonna talk to y'all therapists about. Leftover stuff. So yeah, so no, I see what you're saying about being let down, but I feel like that affects them. Okay, so let me ask you this. So how do you? I don't want to say rationalize because that sounds bad. So if you want to do stuff because on your own because you don't want to be let down, so then you can't want an alpha male, right?
Mm, no, I don't. I don't want a beta.
But that's because some spouses have no sensitivity filter. But I definitely get on Friday for the comments. You funny.
I'm
um,
excited for Friday. No, it doesn't mean I don't want an alpha male. I'm not interested in the kind of spouse to push around and or say, hey, this is how we're gonna do it. I think for me, if I say like, I need this and this and this, or I like to get this done, and you're taking too long, I'm just gonna do it myself.
right. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
But I guess my thing is like, if you want someone else to do it, then why don't you just let them do it? Or say, I need this done by this day or this time, as opposed to saying, I want this done and then trying to micromanage your boy when he does it.
It's not micromanage.
It is micromanage. You said it before.
Okay.
Allegedly, if this was us, what's your name? I'm just saying.
Right. Okay.
If it was us, you said that before, like, oh, I was a manager at work. I forgot how to turn that off.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. I think that has caused some friction and issues between us. Just my type A person.
Because your boy wasn't going. I just want to tell that to my guys watching. Your boy wasn't going. Fix it. Go ahead.
Just with my personality type, I'm just kind of a doer. And I have plans and checklists and all that. But like if I ask for something and it doesn't get done, I will just take it upon myself to do it. Um, it doesn't mean I don't want an alpha male. That's not what that means. But that's my own thing, and that's kind of like my issue, not necessarily yours. I think that's a me issue. I don't think that's a us issue.
No, yeah, but I think it still plays into. I don't know if that would be leftovers though. So, all right, since we were just off the subject of therapy, let's play therapist. Where do you feel like that comes from? You're not wanting to be let down. Where in your past? Who hurt
I'm
you?
not doing this with you.
No, I'm asking. I legit want the people want to know.
Okay, fine. With me, um, in my Virgo-ness, in perfectionism, I have control issues, and I like things to be done a certain way, a certain time. And if you're not gonna do it, I just do it. But then I also wear myself down. So it's not a good thing, but you know, that's one of my hangups. But I think when it comes to like leftover love, that also doesn't create a space for me to allow other people to do things for me, right? So like if that's an issue between a husband and a wife,
That's funny.
decent and in order. Thank you very much. But like if it doesn't create a space for, your spouse to help you or anybody else to help you. And so I think, if we frame this in leftover love, it's just kind of like you get this like, I want to be in control. And that is probably left over from something, I don't know. I
Yeah,
can't necessarily
yeah,
tell you from where, but it's just like being in a space that allows your partner to help you, you know.
no, yeah, no. I agree. So, is it? Do you think it's possible to? And I would love to hear what Miss Zena and the holy G Hill had to say. So, do you think in the middle of your marriage, is it possible to make a switch and a shift realistically? Don't give me the black woman superhero answer. Like to say either for me to become what's the word we using now? Not soft. What's the word?
Passive.
For me to become passive and be like, from now on, if I ask my wife if she needs help, I don't care if I'm in the middle of surgery. I'm gonna jump right on it and let this person die on the table and go do the dishes so she can be happy. Or for you to be like, I'm not gonna be so independent. Like, is it possible to make that change, or is it just like it is what it is, and I'm just gonna have to die being.
Oh no, I think it's possible to change. You know, I mean, these super extreme examples that you're giving,
It's not so big extreme.
bro. Ain't nobody giving up surgery to go do dishes.
Surgery 2K is all the same.
It's definitely not. Two very different things. You can't compare two very different things.
You can.
Apples and oranges. Like it's possible to like say like, oh, maybe I need to look at me. I'm always trying to like look at myself to see like, where areas that I can improve. Like maybe I'm crazy. I always do that. Maybe I'm crazy. So I think it's possible to kind of look at yourself, but I think it's hard because then I think that's admitting that the way that we do things, there may be it may be wrong. It may need some uh, fixing, which is not something that we necessarily want to do.
Okay. So what do you think about? So I've been thinking about this all weekend. So what do you think about like spousal like check-ins? Like every I don't know, IG for sure. How about so every I don't know month, whatever you and your spouse decide to do, just doing a checklist and being like, hey, how are things going? Like, how do you like having an honesty conversation?
Yeah, yeah. I think those are needed and really, really like essential to keep, to keep kind of a reader on where things are in your marriage. But you have to have like there has to be like I think a set of rules that come with this. It's like I'm able to be honest and say things in love, and you have to say like I'm able to receive what this person says and not be immediately offended and on the defense. Because if somebody says something, you asking people to be honest. Well, maybe they have a slight problem with something that you think is perfectly fine. Right. It's just like
But
I'm
don't
able
get
to
mad
say,
if you don't want to hear what you want to hear. Oh,
right.
what does that mean?
It's like,
A safe space. Okay, I got you.
yeah. Yeah. Just
Don't be mad if you expect to hear like everything is all good and then it's not.
right, right. Like
Yeah, yeah. Emotion. Now check-ins. I guess both. G. To the young lady who's speaking, maybe compromise on the to-do list. Who is they? In quotations. I see what's going on here.
whatever. No, but I think marriage check-ins are great. However often you see fit, is that once a month, is it twice a month, is it once every few months? And then um like even just have a running list of how are things going, just for you personally as a person. How am I as a spouse? Am I tending to your needs? And then you reverse those, and then those questions get reversed around you, where you get to, what I mean, like it's equal opportunity on both sides. And I just think that at that point nothing is off the table. You can say, I've been having an issue and struggling with XYZ, and and it's a safe space, and that person is able to, able to say it, somebody's able to receive it, and nobody's going to be walking around pissy after the conversation. Like, I can't believe he thought da 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 da. I can't believe she did that or thinks like that.
Yeah.
It's I think that's important. But like if you're gonna have those honest conversations, like they come with rules. They come with rules.
I think relationship check-ins need to be done even prior to marriage. Are we on the same page? No, what needs to happen is women need to stop lying in the beginning of the relationship.
Okay, women aren't the only ones who lie.
Yes, they are. Men don't lie. We
No, because lots of times men will
y'all see who we are from.
no sir, no sir, no
Ma'am,
sir,
ma'am.
no, no,
Yes, ma'am.
no sir.
Go ahead.
Many a times you have said men will do what they need to do and say what they need to say to get what they want. And
Yes.
once they have it, right. Like, so let's say that's getting married and having sex or whatever, getting this girl. Once they have it, are they going to continue to court? Are they going to continue with the flowers and dressing up all the time and the surprises? It's like, no, not necessarily. That
See,
stuff starts to dwindle.
ma'am, you're trying to mix your boys' words, ma'am.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me what you said?
What I meant by that was if
I'm listening.
if a guy knows that a woman wants to get married, he's gonna tell you when y'all ask, so where do you see this going in a couple of years? I already know what you want to say, what you want to hear. So I'm gonna say that. Like, oh yeah, I see us getting married. I see us.
So that's a lie.
It's not a lie.
Because he doesn't really want to get married. He just wants to tell her
You
what
want to get married
that
eventually.
makes it a lie.
Okay, you got me. Dang. All right, just take it.
Stop trolling.
I'm not trolling. I'm just saying. What?
OMG. Men are the biggest liars before, during, and after. I want to hear it.
Exactly. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. They always want to focus on us, but they don't want to tell what they be doing.
That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. I mean, I think that in some ways women do lie and can mislead. But I think on both ends, the way that men and women do it, it's not intentional. I don't think that men say, okay, I'm going to date her and bring her flowers every time and surprise her with this just to get her to like me. And then once she likes me, I'm kind of done.
No. So
Like,
again,
it's not a conscious effort. And I feel like it's the same for women.
I hate to bring old conversations back up, but again,
Okay. Come on.
this is about the lack of, how can I say this to make this a two-way street? Because it's really a one-way, but okay. I think the problem comes in when certain spouses or certain genders lead. Okay, if I'm a guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell women always, they do. That's what I'm about to get to. Women always set the standard for a relationship. So whatever a woman allows, a man will do. Most men are reactive in relationships because we know y'all crazy. So, we talked about this weekend with the whole like at the movies. If I slide my hand around your arm, you don't say nothing. I'm like, oh snap, all right, bet. Then I put my hand in your thigh. Oh, she ain't say nothing. Okay, cool. When a woman goes, no, don't do that. A man may try like once or twice. Once he see you serious, at that point he got to make a decision. He either around or he not. Right? You following me so far? So if I'm doing things because there's a goal at the end, I'll keep doing it. But once I figure out that goal's not going to be there, I don't know nobody who go to work if they don't give you no paycheck. If they short you of your money, you're going to be ready to blow the whole world up. And so I feel like a lot of times there are these promises by one gender or insinuations about when we get married, X, Y, Z is going to happen. And then the man, because at the end of the day, that's how we wired. I want the goal. I want what I want. No matter what I got to do to get it, that's what I'm going to do. They do that. And then now they marry and they just stuck there.
And they just stuck there.
Yes. They don't get what they was promised and they just got to sit there. And then y'all make up all these things. Well, I do this and do that, do that. That ain't what you said to get me here.
Okay. And how's
I don't know what that means, but
you're a gaslighter, huh? Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I'm just a truth teller. That's all. I'm just being honest.
Okay, relate this to me to leftover love.
What do you mean?
Relate that like the bait and switch.
No, that was something. That was a response to something else we were talking about.
Okay.
Leftover love. So I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is, I don't know what gaslighting means, but I think that's what this is. So so you keep it the flowers, wine, and dine. Yeah, exactly. Zena. How come Zena always figure this out before everybody else?
Because as some people say, Zena's not the typical woman.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you keep, it's transactional. We don't like to say that marriage is a transaction. It's a spiritual, yes. They got invented, yes, but in its core, it's a lifelong transaction.
So, okay, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so you're saying that like if women just continue, or like Zena said, like if you keep whining and dining, I keep giving the draws, we all good?
Sorry, I was reading the comments. Was it say it one more time?
So all I said, like Zena said, if I keep giving the draws, you keep whining and dining. That's it. That's fine.
Yes. It's so simple. Yeah.
Okay. And this is a conversation that we keep coming back to, apparently.
Because why would I? Because like, why would I keep taking you out and you putting on this dress where y'all got everything peeking or hanging out, you smelling good. I'm about to spend all this money. You looking good, smelling good. You wearing a dress you know I like. Ain't no granny panties on, ain't none of that on. For you to go home and go to sleep. Why would I do that?
Oh gosh.
No,
I feel
it's
like
a
this
serious
needs to be
question.
a conversation that you have with guys. And
It's a
we
serious question. No, I need to know from women. I need to have the conversation with women because I need to understand like so basically men need to continue doing what you did to get the draws and women don't hold back the box. Yes, but women need to stop holding back that box first. The man said we are making it more difficult than it has to be. This is true. This is true. I think women just gotta accept the fact that like men are transactional. That's how we work. Everything we do is for something.
right, but
Whether you think it's
I,
stupid or not.
I think this is a conversation you need to have like with all guys and just let women listen because like to us it sounds like you just trolling. But if we heard it from maybe multiple voices or even different perspectives of the same thing, I think that'd be helpful.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, so I think back to our original thing.
Yes.
And I know this is not gonna be very popular, but I want to say it.
Oh no.
I think majority of the time women come into relationships fractured more than men or come into marriages more broken than men do.
Why do you say that?
I mean, because again, women usually set the pace for a relationship. So women tend, I think, more to like get their hopes up and like, well, I don't know. This new age woman is different. I mean, normal women, not this modern woman, normal women. Um, usually expect like whatever it is, and then men just kind of usually beat to the drum. So our expectations aren't really. We gotta get into it first before we have expectations to see how the woman is or whatever. And I think women already have the because men do the breaking. Oh Lord. See, you see how now see y'all say I'm trolling, but you see how everything comes back.
First of all, focus. Ignore the comments for a minute.
Okay,
Please
sorry.
finish what you're saying. Because I'm trying to follow you.
No, that's really it. I think women come in with like you had a list already of what you wanted your husband to be. I had an idea of what I wanted my wife to be, but I didn't have a list. I didn't have anything specific because just women are different. I knew I wanted her to be fine and I want her to be saved. And we can kind of figure out everything else along the way.
So does that equate to coming into a relationship fractured?
Well, no, I'm saying that because women have these expectations, it's a lot easier for them to be broken by a guy, and because there's unrealistic expect. Like y'all ignore the nigga in front of you. I was trying so hard not to say that word, but y'all would make me do it.
No.
Y'all ignore the dude right in front of you, and just so focused on your list. And if he's not that, y'all try to make him into that list. What guys kind of wait, meet you, know who you are, and then figure out how to operate from there. So we don't come in like broken because we didn't really have no unrealistic expectations or expectations of how this guy's gonna be or how this girl's gonna be and what she's gonna do and how I want to get married. Like guys is we not trying to do all that. So I think a lot of times women's hearts, emotions, sexually, all that kind of stuff kind of come in already. I'm gonna say I've never heard a guy, a respectable man, say, "Man, I've been cheating on my past, so if I catch my girl on social media too long, it's gonna be a problem." Men don't say that. I've never heard a man say that. I've heard tons of women say that.
Right.
Or like, Just whatever. I've never heard a guy say that, and so I think women kind of come into situations like I've been hurt. Men's preferences are more simplistic, and women tend to shuffle through many ideas and preferences. Yeah, it may not be looked at as broken, but he may be controlling because of what he has seen in previous relationships. I mean, maybe I'm just saying statistically, I think if we're honest, that we can all agree that that's usually how it goes. The woman, there's a reason why women always get hurt. You will most of the time get hurt by the guy, and it's not necessarily because all guys are trash. It's because of the expectation. And I think even on this show, I think women have admittedly said that like sometimes y'all try to make a man into what you want him to be as opposed to looking at what's right in your face.
Yeah, sometimes
And,
women do
and
that.
who he actually is.
Right. Sometimes women do that.
Yeah, and so that's what I mean. Like, if you've done that your whole life, and then when you meet your husband, like your heart has been broken a few times. Where most guys aren't like that.
I mean, I guess so. I think that guys can also come to a relationship broken.
Of course,
And yeah, huh?
Of course you do.
I think that guys can also come into a relationship broken. It may not be like, oh, my last girl did XYZ, and that's why I'm kind of holding on to it. I feel like guys come into a relationship broken if maybe they don't know who they are as a man. You know what I mean? Like if they didn't have positive upbringing, if they saw abuse. Like I feel like we come into relationships broken, but maybe it's from different sources. Not to say that women don't have those kinds of things, but I think for guys, maybe it's not like, oh, my last girl did XYZ. It's, I saw my mom get beat all my life. So, the definition of love to me is maybe a little more Ike Turner.
Who's trolling now?
I'm not trolling.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How many men do you know personally that beat their girl?
That laid hands on their woman?
Yeah.
I don't know any men. I know a few women who have been in abusive relationships.
No, right. But I'm asking you, the men that you know, how many of them beat their wife or girlfriend because they saw their mama get beat?
I mean, if you want to talk about statistical facts, that's a statistical fact. That most.
How many do you?
I do not know any.
Okay.
So. I do not know any, but most abusers grew up in a violent home. That's a receipt.
No, that's not a receipt. That's a theory.
It's not. Definitely a receipt.
Can you show me the receipt?
Yes, I can. Give me a minute.
All right. But what I'm saying is like, I never laid hands on my ex, but I was verbally abused. It doesn't count, Dana. Verbal abuse does not count. Because that's not the example.
Why doesn't it?
Because that's not the example that you use. Because y'all always talk about me using these extreme examples, but y'all use examples of people y'all don't know. I'm talking about, you know how many women I know that came into a relationship broken? All of them. Everyone that I ever met.
Okay.
Except one. Verbal abuse is worse than I can't agree with that, Dana.
Lots of people think that verbal abuse is worse.
Yeah, because those people have probably never been thrown down a flight of stairs or punched in the face.
Oh my gosh. Okay, just give me a minute.
Everyone, male and female, are sexual in nature is normal. However, both parties need to know how to channel it. Those candid conversations are crucial because both parties have an opportunity to hear subliminal messages, which will help them decide if that relationship is worth pursuing. I agree. Do sticks and stones. But listen to the first part. Sticks and stones may do what?
Break my bones.
Exactly. I'm not saying verbal is good. Verbal abuse is bad, but I think, and this ain't necessarily directed to nobody alive. Most people that say stuff like that have never been abused in a relationship. I'm willing to bet some money that if you ask a woman who's been punched in the face, if she would rather do beat her or insult her, I'm willing to bet money that she will take the insults. Let's not lessen the effect. But see, this is what I'm saying. Like, just I'm not saying I never said that verbal abuse is bad. I'm saying it's better than getting punched in your face or beat with a phone book or pushed down a flight of stairs and then kicked out your house naked where everybody can see. That's all I'm saying.
So specifically speaking about um, what I said, that men who grow up in abusive situations tend to be more abusive, according to the World Health Organization.
What do they know? Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
What do they know? Men who are exposed to domestic violence as children are 3 to 4 times more likely to perpetuate intimate partner violence as adults. It's true. Just like young girls whose parents are abusive to each other, she's much more likely to get into an abusive relationship. But we digress. But that was just a receipt I wanted to pull.
Okay.
But
Thank you for going on that receipt.
no problem. Sorry.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
I'm okay.
Thank you.
No, I
Lord.
just shifted my legs off my
Oh, wow.
the World Health Organization. But yeah, like I feel like almost with kind of going back to our earlier conversation, like getting the leftovers, even like when I think about it, like if you're in a marriage, right? It's prioritizing your spouse and making conscious efforts to do so. So like, like people are working and have kids and or run businesses and do all this other stuff, in the end, when it comes to spending time with their spouse, it's like, I don't feel like it. Or, when it comes to, having sex, it's like, I don't feel like it. It's like I'm tired, I'm spent because I've put myself out in all these other places and I haven't reserved or made the priority to make sure that my spouse gets attention, that my spouse gets their love language tended to.
Okay. I have a question, and I guess it's no.
What?
No, I'm really thinking about this.
Okay.
So I guess this answer is different for everybody. So, but sort of try to answer in the general. I don't want to know the answers to the question in our life. Do you think that? Hold on, somebody. Do you guys? Oh yeah. Why do you think, or do you think that marriages are actually? Where do you think marriages should rank in somebody's the hierarchy of their life? Where do you think marriage should?
What, like in priority list?
Mhm.
I mean, second,
Two.
your relationship with God. I mean, that's the umbrella, right? Like,
No, I get it. No, I'm just okay. So
work,
that's what
whatever. So, like that, if we're asking hierarchy, then that's it. But outside of God, like your marriage should rank higher than anything else. It should.
okay. Do you think that's a reality?
No, not always. And I also think it fluctuates. It's like, maybe for 6 months things are going well, and then maybe something happens, and it's hard to get back in the role or swing of things to, doing intentional date nights, making sure that you know, it's on the calendar, you know, like making sure that you're prioritizing the things that your spouse needs and vice versa, your spouse prioritizing you and your needs. Um, but I think it fluctuates. I don't think it's always at the forefront of the mind.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think it should be. No, I think like even this weekend we had this great conversation with Zena and the crew of just like marriage, in my personal opinion. I think we like marriage is literally like committing your life to a person.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what happens is like we do that, and then it's like, but as long as you fit into what I have going on. So like if it's a choice between like a job and your spouse, and we always think in the sense of like, and not in the sense of like your job is like you need to get divorced or you can work here, but like the decisions you make about paycheck and what that looks like for your life. Do y'all discuss that? Do you just take a job? No, because people let things in life take over. Right. No, I agree. And so I guess that's just kind of what I mean. I feel like marriage as a whole has really kind of become like a leftover thing. And you know, when you and I talking, when Zena talking, like I feel like marriage has kind of become sometimes or a lot of times our spouses become an accessory, or like something that comes along with the middle of life instead of whatever. And I think it's unfair because and this will tie into Friday. It's like we still like if I commit my life to you, then that means like with most of my decisions, I need to like consider you and not necessarily my preference, but the preference of the person who I say that my life is committed to. The same thing with God, but I feel like we do the same thing with God. Like,
Yeah.
God, you're the head of my life. Like, we'll say it quick, but like, He don't factor in none of your decisions. You don't know what the Bible says about this and that. A lot of things you don't pray about it. You just feel how you feel, and God just got to be cool with it. And I feel like that's how we approach our marriages. And for a lot of people, they realize that and they are happy, but they don't want to go through the process of like, you know, getting divorced. My famous saying, like suffering in silence. For people, it's easier because marriage is, if we honest, marriage is like a social status.
Mm-hmm.
People usually look at you better or figure out. You know, I got friends in Atlanta that's like, man, the girls not there go for a married man. One, because of like the homosexual thing that's going on, and then two is because they like, well, we know that he's stable, he got somewhere to go, he's not gonna be all up under me because he got a situation at home, you know. And I think that like if you're gonna commit your life to somebody, then you should take it more serious. And I know like we go back and forth about with the guys and the sex thing, but I think it should be like, man, this is the woman that I committed to my whole life. I'm not stepping outside of my marriage. But at the same time, it should be one of my stipulations was for him to be with me and only me. And y'all know if y'all do is attractive, and most people know. You may not know the exact number or the extent because people usually lie about how sexually active that your person was, and a lot of times how sexually active y'all was before y'all got married. You know, but it's kind of what you said. It's like, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like listening to you when I come home. I don't feel like helping you with the kids. I don't feel like helping you do this. I. And I'm not saying that like you like, baby, what should I wear today? Like, not like that. But I do think like in most of the things you do, you need to like take that person into consideration and not just like how you feel about it. And so that's kind of my thing with like the self help. Like I get the concept of it and the concept of like I gotta fix me to help. But it's like you already. I just feel like we don't do that with nothing else except our relationships. I feel like our decision making when it comes to relationships is terrible. In the process that we go through. So like you can't go to a job, fill out an application, get the job, and then be like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you niggas, I got a drinking problem. I don't believe in coming in to work on Wednesday. Like we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's why you take a drug test up front. You do a lot of these things up front. And I feel like in marriages, like we just want to be married for the fill in the status or whatever it is. And then it's like, oh, I need self-help. I need to fix myself because of blah, 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 blah.
But even I think there might be a correlation of like how you said, like if we're honest, we give God our leftovers. We say he's ahead of my life or whatever, and don't really put him at the forefront of decision making, at the forefront of how we treat people in XYZ, right?
Yeah.
So seeing as how marriage, and I might be kind of going off left field, but seeing as how marriage is the
representation of that.
Thank you. The representation of our relationship with him, our relationship as husband and wife. If our relationship with him is fractured, or we don't prioritize it, or it's like, yeah, God's cool, he's like over there, and I call him when I need him, like some of that may seep into our marriages where we don't always consider the other person or make decisions as a we and not decisions as a I. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
move, and the way we move and the way we operate is not as we, it's as I.
No, I agree. But I think it's just our nature in general. Like, just think about it. Like, when you get your license, you sign something agreeing, like, I'm going to follow the speed limit. I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. But we always find a reason, like, why we don't. We justify it. And I think at the end of the day, we just do what we want to do. I guess my hope is, like, that we kind of recommit to what marriage is, or kind of, it's hard to say redefine because this is how it started off, but like, and we always go back and forth about the verse about submission versus, he's the head, you're supposed to submit, and you love Christ like God loves the church. But I think the spirit of the scripture is like, it's not a competition to get mine, it's a competition for you to get yours. And I just figure out how to do that, within however I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, if I'm supposed to provide for you, and I know it's not a popular thing to say like on a Christian whatever, but like for some people that's gonna be selling drugs, and that's just what it is. And the person, I don't ever get mad at somebody who, like, if you're doing something bad but it's to help your spouse or whatever, then you do what you need to do. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think that I hope we can get back to a place to where it's about, and just have an honest conversation. Because like Zena says, why you get married? But I don't feel like you can have an honest conversation if you like 10 to 15 years. And you like, honestly, the only reason I married you is because I had daddy issues. Like, that conversation ain't gonna go well. So we make up like all this stuff. But I think if we do like an honesty, like if someone put you on a lie detector and you got down to the nitty gritty, a lot of us didn't get married for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
A lot of us, you coming off a heartbreak, you never thought you would find somebody that could love you and treat you a certain kind of way. And so and I'm not even saying that's wrong. That's the reality, but I don't think we're honest about why you should get married and what marriage really is, especially biblical marriage.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think
I think
what marriage really is.
I think that's a lie that we've fallen for. And even though reality is staring us in our face, And I think, what was that, a couple of weeks ago, our last conversation, I think it's why I got so heated, because I'm like, but y'all telling me these theories that people have told y'all, but the reality is staring you in the face. Like 1 out of 4 African American women being married, that's a reality. Like people not making that up. That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. It's hard, but I guess my goal is like I'm trying to be more honest. Like in our marriage, I mean in general, but in our marriage, because I think if a guy understands, or my hope is that if a guy understands you have daddy issues, that's just a reality, and that's kind of a role that he needs to be able to play. I mean, not, you know what I mean, not to make it weird, but like
Right.
you
Right.
definitely had to provide, you definitely had to protect, you definitely probably need to be assertive. You definitely, because these are all the things that your spouse is looking for. But if you don't say that, and then a lot of times our issues get disguised. You ever heard the saying like most people who are arrogant are really have low self-esteem. They just disguise it to cover it up, kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
And so I think for like a lot of, I mean, it's kind of what we say, I guess, like a lot of women, like if you didn't grow up with dad in the home and you got married because you have daddy issues, or I know guys who have a horrible relationship with their mom, and so they just don't respect women. Is what they say. That's what they told me. That I know I trolled a little bit earlier, but I know those things are real. But I think it's important to have those kind of conversations because at the end of the day, marriage is a partnership, but the partnership, the way we function is so different. I just think constant communication and just honesty. And I know it's hard if you've been married 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of being like, hey, I started off like this, but now I'm kind of like this and evolving, and then just figuring out, and then just not being afraid of. I don't want to sound unbiblical, so I'm gonna say this the most Christian way I can.
Uh-oh.
I think it's like sometimes you need to just have a conversation. If y'all are not in the same place, y'all may do more good just splitting up. Which I know is complicated because of kids and stuff like that, but I think a lot of times we're so scared to lose a person that we can't be honest. And marriage doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like, and not that it's supposed to be like. Honestly, as a guy, if I look at society and the way things are portrayed and just how I hear about things, like it almost seems like it's better to be single. Like I can sleep with as many people as I want, I can hang with as many people as I want. Marriages can't fix what we didn't have growing up. Marriages can only begin new life, new goals, new the way God ordained it, the true purpose of marriage. No, I agree, but I do think people. I don't know if those issues ever leave you.
Yeah, people bring old stuff into a new life.
Yeah, I think people just need what they need. Like, you know, and I think it's important, like, especially in our culture where, you know, I would say maybe 2/3 of the families don't have a father who's around or active.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know how you replace that. I don't.
You don't know how you replace.
Like you can never replace being a father. Like you can't replace raising. Like you're not raising your spouse. I guess what I mean is like the things that but a lot of times the things that a father's supposed to do and the husband is supposed to do kind of parallel. Protect, provide, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's where a lot of people are at now. Women are afraid of being cheated on, men are afraid of being finessed. Facts. Facts. So, you know, I just think because we can't have honest conversation because everyone is so caught up in these narratives. That's why both people need to understand that people grow and change. The same person you started dating at 18 would be different at 30, 40, 50 years old. No, I agree. No, I think that's definitely true. I think Siobhan and I don't click. We ain't 100% in all areas. I do think one of the areas that we're good at is like communication or making a shared note and being like, okay, this is what my ideal dream guy looks like. This is what my dream girl looks like. Here's a list, and then we figure out, just kind of figure it out. Don't bring generational issues into something. No, I agree that you shouldn't purposely do it, but I think what I'm saying is a lot of people I don't think realize, or maybe now because we're in the era of self help and therapy and all this stuff, but
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like segue into next week, part of like self-care and self-help and all that is when you grow up either in a fractured dysfunctional home and family, or you come from, abuse or whatever, you don't know what baggage that you're taking and putting onto other people because maybe you can't see it. And so part of what therapy and whatever is one, being able to recognize what it is and how you are to other people, and then being able to change that. Because like you said, if someone is really honest and says like, oh, I married you honestly, if I look at it, because I have daddy issues, and it's like, well, how do you fix that? It's like, yeah, the man needs to make sure that these certain areas he really can't slip on, because that's where she's a little that's where she's a little tender. But part of her responsibility is just being able to try to be a little more whole and a little more complete. Not saying that you should be a whole person before you get into a relationship. You also shouldn't be visibly broken, but like part of therapy is being able to address your issues, things that you may not even know were issues.
no, I so let me say this. I agree with self help. I agree with therapy before you get married.
Okay.
Once we marry, like, yeah, your your spouse is your therapist.
Okay.
That's how it goes. That's how it's supposed to be. Not this new wave.
New wave.
Yeah, this new. Oh, I'm married, but I need to make myself. What are you talking about?
I really want to. I'm really interested in your
I
receipt.
can't wait. I almost revealed my one of my receipts right now, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I hope y'all had y'all receipts too. Zena.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
I'm just saying, seeing as how she is a professional, so I feel like you should
She is a professional.
let us behind her name. You should just be tread lightly. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'll tread lightly, but I'm just saying. I got proof though. Nothing like facts, baby. Nothing like stats.
Moving on.
Definitely get that before the problem is people wait. That's what I'm saying. You come in there ruining a person's whole life, and now you want to go seek help. Mm-mm. You knew you was crazy before you went to that marriage. The problem is we can't. I think the problem is just honesty. Is self evaluation.
Okay.
People would rather think that all these people they've been in a relationship with is crazy than to say maybe I'm the problem. Every dude cheated on you that you've been with, all of them, they all trash, huh?
Yes, every single one of them.
Every girl you've been with don't finesse you for some money.
That's right. That's right.
They all trash.
All of them.
It's important to have a little together where you'll be broken in a healthy way. Agreed. No, I agree. Well, I know it's a Monday and it's like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, depending on where people are. So we'll end here. But I just want to thank everybody for joining and just praying for your marriages, and just want to encourage you this week to have those conversations.
Create the safe space.
Yeah, yeah. Or don't let those away and get to cooking some fresh marriage. Well, we love y'all. I cannot wait to see y'all Friday. Well, I can't wait to see some of y'all on Friday. Greg, make sure you hear Zena. I ain't really made my mind up yet.
Oh,
Whether I want to see you or not.
you petty.
I got real life people situations, but I'm not gonna put their business out there. But these men think that it's soft to be emotional. Listen, because it is. Um,
Oh gosh.
but yeah, I love y'all. I will see y'all on
Friday.
Friday. Zane, don't be trying to call Siobhan to get no intel. I ain't telling her what's going on either.
Whatever.
But all right, love y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for joining Radio M, and we will see you Friday.
Bye.
You'll know me. I had the receipts.
Yeah. Oh, I'm waiting. I'm ready.
She ain't gonna have nothing. She come empty handed.
That's fine.